All children are special.
She asked a lot. She asked a lot for each of those kids.
I was technically one of her supervisors, but if you know Maybelline, she was holding her own.
I went back to my campus thinking, oh my God, is that a private school and how can she do that?
Maybelline and I are exactly the same and totally different. If you want to know an answer to a question, ask Maybelline, be prepared for the answer.
We both had the same name, Carpenter, last name, and she would introduce me as her cousin. And we got into the habit of, over the years, calling each other cuz.
Well, I finally found my niche that I didn't know I was looking for. I wanted to be a microbiologist, but after taking the same chemistry class 3 times, it wasn't for me. I went and got my dad's truck, fully literally, that I had to move back home to Tennessee. And so when I got to Tennessee, I found a job as a social worker, and that lasted 6 weeks. And after then, I got a job at our Western State Mental Health Institute, working with adolescent emotionally disturbed children. And that's how I got into my lifelong career of being an educator. I ended up in education working with special needs children, and I kind of found myself.
We all seem to find our way as we work through life, and we figure out that what we thought we really wanted to do wasn't the best fit. Maybelline found that out.
She really did a great job as a teacher, and then when she became a leader of the teachers, she was a real team player with them.
The Adaptive Behavior Center, where Maybelline was first a teacher and then became director and principal, was aimed at helping students who weren't successful in the regular middle schools and high school programs because of emotional and learning issues.
They needed that small environment with teachers who knew how to manage those types of behaviors.
She wanted to make sure that students had the full opportunity at the home campus prior to being assigned to her campus. So I would say that she was tough because she cares about students.
I worked for Cypress-Fairbanks ISD for 36 years. And in the meantime, I was working at Sears part-time because I was the only one working in my family. Because I went to work at Sears to buy presents for my family because my husband was going to school full-time. And I met a friend who worked in Cypress-Fairbanks, and she said, you need to go meet my superintendent, Opal. And I said, y'all call your superintendent by their first name? So on my day of my interview, I'm driving a non-air-conditioned car, and I'm driving and driving and driving. And I said, I'm not going out there. But finally I got to Jones Road and I turned and I said, well, I've made it this far.
She was part of the team, worked very hard to support them, and look for new ways to create better situations for the students that they serve.
We didn't want our students to miss out on anything, and she made sure of that. So she was truly not just a director or a principal. She was that in the classroom person driving the curriculum and driving the teaching that went on.
She knew what kids needed, and they needed those boundaries and that support, and she did not back off of that to be particularly politically correct.
You had to really understand why her campus would be a best fit for the students. Otherwise, she would send you back. I remember her saying, no, no.
She was the greatest advocate those kids had in Cypress-Fairbanks ISD, and she just told it like it was. She and I were kindred spirits, and we had many conversations along those lines.
With children in general, you kind of find your niche, and there's something for everybody if you truly are a teacher or truly are an educator. And mine was working with the special needs children who maybe the throwaway child that needed that compassion.
It certainly was a great fit for her. because she worked very, very hard, had a great passion for being sure that students had every opportunity to be successful.
And a lot of very specialized lesson planning, development of lessons, always being present for the kids, no matter what else is going on in your life. When you're in that building, those kids are your kids and they're your focus.
Those kids that didn't have a voice, that needed a spokesperson, that needed a mommy, an auntie, a cheerleader, she's the one that could do that.
There are so many adults that would have shied away or given up or abandoned or got mixed up about what the goals were and stuff, but she just wasn't. And we used to worry about, what happens if there's not a Maybelline in these kids' lives.
It's a high burnout position. Maybelline didn't burn out at all.
My parents are no longer living, but they would be the proudest of this moment. And they would appreciate this more than I do, because we grew up on a farm, small town, and they always wanted the best for my sister and me. And to see your name on a building would be quite special. I didn't look, nor did I work, nor did I stay in the program expecting this. But I would say my parents made the greatest impact in terms of their work ethic, their belief that you will go to college. My dad had a 4th grade education. My mom was a 10th grader. But that didn't stop us from providing the means of exploring our opportunities.
I do think it is a great honor for a school, a program, a building to be named after educators who have gone above and beyond. I think of all of those that the schools in Cy-Fair are named after. She fits that same mold.
If it was to be this gorgeous, fancy building that, didn't have kids being successful in it, and there was turnover in staff, and the district was spending lots of resources on it, that would not be a building named after Maybelline Carpenter.
If anyone is deserved to have, to be a namesake of a building, it would be Maybelline and that particular campus, just because she gave her heart and soul to making sure that those students had a respectful, appropriate, loving environment to learn in.
It was her life, making sure that that school ran the way it should and that those kids had every opportunity that they had to grow and become good, solid citizens and members of society was her key focus. And so nobody has given more of her life to education in that area than Maybelline Carpenter.
Maybelline burned bright, she burned strong, and sometimes she burned hot. And I can tell you, she deserved this recognition, even though she never will admit it, and that she probably fought it all the way. But she definitely deserved it because of what she did for kids on that campus in this district for so many years. Maybelline, no matter how hard you fight it, you deserve this honor and award. And I'm honored because, as I said, you and I are the same person, just totally different.
Maybelline, I am so pleased for you. I'm glad that I got to know you. I'm glad that I was a part of your career for some years. I think that naming the center after you is a well-deserved honor. Congratulations.
There's nobody else whose name should be on this building but Maybelline Forbes Carpenter, my friend and my colleague.
I am so proud of you. And you are so deserving of this opportunity.
I think that this is such a special honor, and she would be the first to say she didn't need that honor, that her honor was being able to work there for the number of years that she did and do the things that she knew was right for kids and to be a part of the family that we developed. But she truly deserves this because people need to know that she put her life into that school.
Special child in Maybelline. We connected.